Now, you might think a bit of dirt never hurt anyone, and in the garden, that's often true. But did you know that a single, uncleaned pair of pruning shears can spread disease faster than gossip at a garden party? You could be killing your prize-winning roses with bacteria-infested blades, just like we wouldn't go from handling potatoes straight to tending our tomatoes without a good wash. Our tools need that same level of care. We've all been there. You're on a roll, pruning with gusto, deadheading like a champion. The last thing you want to do is stop to clean your secateurs. But hold on a minute. Just like you wouldn't share a toothbrush, you shouldn't share disease-ridden tools with your plants. Think of it this way. Every snip, every cut, is a chance for microscopic nasties to hitch a ride on your blades. These could be fungal spores, bacteria, or even viruses just lurking, waiting for their next victim. One minute you're trimming a slightly suspect rose, the next you're introducing that blight to your prize-winning dahlias. So what's the solution? Simple: clean your tools. And I'm not talking a quick wipe on your trousers. A bucket of soapy water is a good start. But for extra peace of mind, disinfecting is key. You can use a diluted household disinfectant or a specialized horticultural solution. Give your tools a good scrub, paying attention to the blades and any nooks and crannies where those pesky pathogens might be hiding. And don't forget to dry them thoroughly afterwards. Dampness is an open invitation for rust. Make cleaning your tools a regular habit. A few minutes spent cleaning will save you a whole lot of heartache in the long run. Now, having the right tools for the job is a bit like having the right ingredients for a cake. You can't expect to whip up a Victoria sponge with just a teaspoon and a spatula, can you? Gardening is much the same. Using a trowel to dig a planting hole for a tree is like trying to chop a log with a butter knife. It's just not going to end well. You'll end up frustrated, the job will be poorly done, and your plants will suffer. Take pruning, for example. You wouldn't use a pair of hefty loppers on delicate rose stems, would you? That's a surefire way to crush those delicate stems and leave them vulnerable to disease. Instead, opt for a pair of sharp secateurs, designed for precision pruning. Similarly, when it comes to weeding, using a large hoe in a crowded flower bed is like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. A small hand fork or a weeding knife will give you much more control and precision. The key is to match the tool to the task. Using the wrong tools can not only damage your plants, but also make gardening more difficult and less enjoyable. Gardening should be a pleasure, not a pain. So do your plants a favor and invest in the right tools. Now let's talk about blades. They might seem like a small detail, but they play a crucial role in gardening. Sharp blades are to a gardener what a good set of knives are to a chef, absolutely essential. They ensure precision and efficiency in every cut. Using dull blades is like trying to cut a tomato with a butter knife. It's going to be messy, inefficient, and potentially damaging. The struggle is real and the results are far from ideal. You see, when you use a dull blade on a plant, you're not making a clean cut. Instead, you're causing more harm than good. Instead, you're crushing and tearing the plant tissue. This can lead to a host of problems for your plants. This not only looks unsightly, but also stresses the plant and leaves it wide open to infection. A stressed plant is a vulnerable plant. A clean cut, made with a sharp blade, will heal quickly and efficiently. This promotes healthier growth and reduces the risk of disease, but a ragged tear made with a dull blade will take longer to heal and is more susceptible to infection. The plant's energy is diverted to healing rather than growing. This is especially important when pruning. Proper pruning can make a significant difference in the health and appearance of your plants. A clean cut will allow the plant to direct its energy into new growth, while a ragged cut will only weaken the plant and make it more susceptible to disease. Healthy plants are the result of careful, precise cuts. So how can you tell if your blades are due for a sharpen? It's simpler than you might think. A simple test is to try cutting through a piece of paper. This quick test can save you a lot of trouble in the garden. If the blade glides through effortlessly, you're good to go. Your tools are ready for action. But if it snags or tears the paper, it's time to sharpen those blades. Don't wait until it's too late. Sharpening your tools doesn't have to be a daunting task. With a little practice, it becomes a simple routine. Now, we gardeners, we love our tools, don't we? And there's a certain satisfaction that comes with wielding a heavy-duty spade or a sturdy fork. But just like you wouldn't use a jackhammer to hang a picture, you shouldn't always reach for the heaviest tool in the shed. Overusing heavy-duty tools can actually do more harm than good, especially when it comes to your soil. Imagine the delicate structure of the soil, with its network of air pockets and tiny pathways that roots rely on. Using a heavy-duty tool in every situation is a bit like driving a tractor through your flower bed. You compact the soil, squeezing out the air and making it harder for roots to penetrate and access the nutrients they need. This compaction can lead to all sorts of problems, from poor drainage to stunted growth. So what's the solution? Well, it's simple. Choose the right tool for the job. For delicate tasks like weeding around seedlings or planting small plants, opt for a hand trowel or a hand fork. And for larger tasks like digging a new bed, consider using a no-dig method or a broad fork, which will help to loosen the soil without compacting it. Treat your soil with respect. Your plants will thank you for it. Now, we gardeners, we're a hardy bunch, aren't we? We take pride in our resilience and our ability to tackle any task that comes our way. We don't shy away from a bit of hard work. In fact, we often embrace it with enthusiasm and vigor. But there's a difference between a good day's work and pushing yourself beyond your limits. Overexertion can lead to serious injuries and long-term health issues. Ergonomics is all about designing tools and tasks to fit the user rather than the other way around. It's about making our work easier and more efficient. In the garden, this means choosing tools that are comfortable to use, reduce strain on your body, and allow you to garden for longer without aches, pains, or injuries. It's about working smarter, not harder. Think about it. If you're struggling with an uncomfortable tool, your focus is going to be on your discomfort, not on the task at hand. This distraction can lead to mistakes. You're more likely to rush, to make mistakes, and to potentially harm your plants in the process. Your plants deserve your full attention and care. Using tools with thin, poorly designed handles can lead to blisters, cramps, and even carpal tunnel syndrome over time. These injuries can be debilitating. Look for tools with wider, ergonomically designed handles that fit comfortably in your hand and distribute pressure evenly. This simple change can make a big difference. Similarly, when choosing long-handled tools like spades and forks, pay attention to the length and weight of the handle. The right tool can make your work much easier. A handle that's too short or too long for your height can put unnecessary strain on your back, shoulders, and wrists. Proper tool selection is crucial. By choosing ergonomic tools and practicing good posture, you'll not only protect your body from injury, but also improve your gardening experience. You'll feel better and work more efficiently. You'll be able to garden for longer, with more enjoyment, and your plants will benefit from your increased focus and care. Now, we all know that chemicals can be harmful, and in the garden we try to use them sparingly, if at all. The goal is always to maintain a healthy balance in our garden ecosystem. But even if you're an organic gardener, there might be times when you need to reach for a chemical solution, whether it's to control a particularly nasty pest or to treat a persistent disease. Sometimes it's the only viable option to save your plants. But here's the thing. Even the most careful application of chemicals can leave residues on your tools. These residues can be invisible to the naked eye, but still potent enough to cause issues. And if these residues aren't removed properly, they can be transferred to other plants, potentially causing unintended harm. This cross-contamination can be detrimental to the health of your garden. Imagine this. You've just treated your roses for black spot with a fungicide. You feel relieved, thinking you've tackled the problem effectively. You put your sprayer away, thinking you've done your due diligence. But have you really? But the next day you use the same sprayer to mist your delicate ferns, completely unaware that you're coating them with a fine layer of fungicide. This can be particularly harmful to sensitive plants. Now, while fungicides are designed to kill fungi, they can also harm beneficial insects and even damage sensitive plants. This unintended exposure can disrupt the natural balance in your garden. So, what you thought was a harmless misting could actually have unintended consequences for your ferns. The damage might not be immediately visible, but it can manifest over time. The same goes for any chemical you use in the garden, whether it's a pesticide, a herbicide, or even a fertilizer. Each of these can leave residues that might affect other plants. Even a tiny residue left on your tools can have an impact on other plants. It's crucial to be mindful of this to maintain a healthy garden. So, what's the solution? Well, it's simple. Clean your tools thoroughly after each use, especially after using any chemicals. This practice can prevent cross-contamination. Use hot, soapy water and a scrub brush to remove any visible residues. Make sure to get into all the nooks and crannies where chemicals might hide. Then, rinse your tools thoroughly and allow them to air dry completely. This ensures that no chemical traces are left behind. So there you have it, the surprisingly sneaky ways your gardening tools might be harming your plants. By following these simple don't do this tips, you can keep your tools in top condition and your plants healthy and thriving. If you found this guide helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow gardeners. And don't forget to subscribe to the Don't Do This Guide channel for more essential tips on avoiding everyday disasters.